Well, I said I wasn't going to film the burn pile because I thought you all were getting bored of it, but check that out. There's my pile. That's all it's left. Got it all smoothed out. It's a nice little pile. Not much wood left on there. I mean, there's a couple pieces of metal that I'm not reaching my hand in to go grab, but check it out. That's it. Yeah, I've got it all. Now it's still a little bumpy along the edges here, and I've got a lot of rock and stuff that I need to take care of here, but I mean, for the most part. Hi, Hank. Hi, big boy. But yeah, there it is. Hey, Trixie. That's a sight to see. Look at that bloodhound. Yep, that's the last of this pile. This pile has been sitting in this spot for 3 years now. Now, we moved here a year ago, and last January, I think it was, January or February, I started this pile. So it's been a year ago that I started burning this up, and it was way back here, right before that tree right there. It came right across that, well, actually where that little stump is right there. That right there, and it came straight across here in the front, all the way this way. I mean, it was a ginormous pile. Yep, there it is. The last of it. Now, this little mound of dirt and rock, I'm leaving it right now until I can get the top of it burned down. And once this burns away, I'll probably, whatever's left over, I'll just take it and I'll just either bury whatever stumps are left or whatever's left and get rid of it. It won't be really much to burn for a burn pile. I mean, I can always add it to my other side because I've got the burn piles all scattered through the forest back there. I still got to get burned. But this is it. This is the last of my headache. Yeah, it didn't really take much to light this one up either. It's like 36 degrees out today. You know, it's Wednesday the 4th. And yeah, it's the last of it. Thank goodness, though. I am so sick of seeing this thing. And that beautiful beast right there. I love this tractor. Tanya, y'all, if you're looking to get a front loader tractor, 2025 Coyote, the CK2620 with the HST. Telling you, it's an amazing tractor. This thing has done everything for me. It's done wonders for me. But anyways, there we are. So I know I said I wasn't going to show you me working on the burn pile, but oh, I had to show it. You know, that's what I do. I just go around here and I pick up whatever sticks I can find. Like, there's one right there. I'll probably throw that one in there. And just keep adding to the fire. And just keep adding to the fire. Just keep feeding it. I don't care if it's wet. Because if it's wet, it'll dry. And when it's dried, it'll burn. Oh, get pelted by smoke. So what you see, the different coloration of the smoke, there was an old carpet pad in there. You can see the carpet right there. And the carpet pad. Now that was buried under the dirt. Now I did add my own carpet in there when I redid the floors, but that was buried under the dirt, so it's dried. I mean, it's a little saturated, so that's why it's smoking the way it is, but once that all burns off, then it'll just be straight wood. I'm making a pile over here of all the metal that I find laying around the ground. I'm just kicking them off to the side. Got metal up inside here that was in that pile that I didn't even realize when I first lit it up. But yeah, there you go. Now I still got some more clearing to do. You know, and I'll flatten all this out. I might get a box blade for the Coyote and come out here with a box blade and just scrape it and smooth it all out. Because right now I'm just using the bucket. And I got to tell you, I'm just using the bucket on my Coyote to flatten and push dirt and push rocks and push everything out. I'm using it as a push pull, man. I mean, I'm shoving everything out just using the bucket. I don't have a box blade. The only attachment I have on this tractor is that bucket right here. This is the only thing that I've got going on. So, but anyways, this is just a little recap. What's going on? I got that stump. It's too heavy for me to pick up. I'm gonna pick it up with the tractor, move it over there. So, as you see, most of the snow is pretty much gone. They're saying we've got another storm coming in. That's where my blind used to sit, was right there. And I'd hunt in this direction. But unfortunately, I was only able to get the one deer this year. Or last year. But hunting season's coming up quick. It'll be here in September. You know, I'll grab 4 more tags and, you know, I'll do my homework, I guess, this year and find some alternative places, some big property, big lands, you know, and just recon and find at least 2 more locations that I can go hunt on. So if I have no luck here, which I'll have luck here. I mean, I've got 5 deer that reside here, but this year they were just too small. This coming up hunting season later this year, what we consider this next year. Oof, smoke. They'll be just right. Sorry, I'm getting pelted by smoke. They'll be just the right size. So then I'll be able to, I can tag at least 2 of them. So this next hunting season coming up in September, 20s will actually be big enough and old enough. They'll be about 2.5 years old. So I said I wasn't going to hunt them this year, and I did not hunt them this year. But, I keep saying this year, and we're in February, last year. But later this year, our fall winter hunt, they'll be about 2.5 years old. So they'll be plenty big enough to sign them up to freezer camp. But anyhow, that'll be later on down the line. All right, my friends, I'm gonna cut it off right here. I'm sure you guys are tired of looking at my little stumps and burn pile, but I'm gonna cut in some rocks. I'm gonna pull out some of my rock hound skills, and we're gonna cut open some rocks later today. Or maybe I might, no, I got a job I gotta go look at tomorrow. A friend of mine's furnace isn't working, so I'm gonna go take a look at that. I don't know, I might either cut the rocks later today, or I can even do them tomorrow. I don't know, we'll see how long it takes for me to monitor this. All right, y'all, I'm gonna cut it off right here, and I'm gonna watch this pile for a little bit, make sure it's safe and secure, no ashes are blowing into my leaves or my trees. Probably do a little bit more cleanup around here, and then I'm going to next time I come back on here, we're going to be cutting open some rocks. So I'm excited. I'm looking for some agates. I know there's agates here. I want to find some agates. So, and then I'll go over the machinery that I'm using, the blade I'm using, and everything. So, all right, y'all, stay tuned, and we're gonna cut open some rocks. We're gonna have a little bit more fun, something a little different here on the homestead, you know. So. All right, guys, I'll see you then in just a moment. My goodness, look at this absolute gorgeous of a day. I mean, sun is shining. My birds are out there in the sun, just lounging. Oh my goodness, look at that willow. Willow's laying down. I put my mare out in the pasture with the boys. They're over there grazing. I got them out there. Oh, good. She's out there lounging in the sun. So, anyways, yeah, I put my bucks and my mare out in the pasture yesterday. It's been an absolute gorgeous day. I mean, it's just beautiful. But anyways, today, what I'm going to be doing, I'm getting all set up, is I'm going to be cutting some rocks. Look, I got my bucket here. Got my bucket of rocks sitting inside some water. But first, check it out. There's the babies. There's the ladies. There's my ladies. There's Queenie, Maria, and Autumn. So they are enjoying their stalls. I separated them from the boys. So if you watched my video, this was my video of making my double livestock stall here in my garage, which I'm turning into a barn. So, however, I just recently discovered, I mentioned before, is my goat is eating the paper off the drywall. He's literally eating the paper off the drywall. And then my mare decided that she wanted to try to see if it tastes any good. So she, I just discovered yesterday, has been eating the wall. So, yeah, that's fun. But, yeah, these are my goats. There's my ladies. Miss Autumn. Yep, right there saying hello. There's my Maria. I figured she's probably got maybe another week, maybe a week and a half left before she kids. So I'm excited. I'm going to film that. I can't go live, but I'm going to film it and upload it as much as possible. It'll be my first kids that I've delivered or helped to deliver or watched deliver. But yeah, she's getting there. She's almost ready. She's got probably about another week, maybe 2, and then she'll be next. I think she's going to be March. She's not even bagging up yet, so I think she's going to be probably the beginning, if not the middle part of March. Yeah, she's got a little bit. She's getting there. So, well, we'll see. I'm not sure which one's going to be first, but I know who's going to be first. I think Maria's going to be first. She is. And I had a friend of mine tell me that there is a very good possibility, how big she is, that she can actually have 3, if not 4 kids in there. I'm only hoping for 2. 3 would be nice. 4, I think that'd be too much for her. And then the same with her. She's someone said that since she's white on both sides, she can possibly be carrying twins. So hopefully that's all she's got, because she's a little bit on the smaller side. My Maria, she is a standard Nubian, and she is a miniature Nubian. And then she is a miniature, I think she's a miniature Nubian. She might be a standard Nubian. She's too young. No, actually, I think she is a standard full-size Nubian. Is when I get corrected. I don't know. I got her from an auction. So anyhow, today, we're going to be cutting open some rocks. So what I've got going on here is, I've got my camera here, which I'm going to be filming cutting the stones down below. Okay? This camera will be up on me, so that way I can show you the different rocks. I can get up close and I can show you the pieces. You know, I've got rocks here that, you know, I've found these on the property. And that's the good thing about being here and enjoying rocks, you know, enjoying the lifestyle of a geologist, you know. I mean, someday I'd like to go back to school and maybe get my geology degree, you know, and learn a little bit more about what I'm collecting and what I'm doing. Right now, I'm just cutting these for fun. I have no idea what they are inside of them. They look cool on the ground, so I decided to collect them up and let's cut them open and see what we find in there. So I've got my wet saw. Now this is just a tile saw I picked up at Home Depot. It's just a Ryobi. Here, check it out. It's just a Ryobi wet saw, table saw. Nothing fancy. 7-inch blade. So it's just a table saw, you know, like I said, little Ryobi. Oops, scoot this sucker back a little bit. Yeah, it's just a simple little saw. Now I did just change the blade on it. So this was the blade that was in it. I've been using a lot of cutting on this table saw. I've done a couple tile projects. So this was the blade that I just took off, which came with the table saw. It's Ryobi. I think I picked this up, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago from Home Depot. I think it was like $125, $130, something like that. But this is the blade that I just replaced it with. So the KD, which I guess stands for King Diamond. So this is the Tile Pro. Apparently this can cut, you know, granite, it can cut marble, it can cut ceramics, it can cut porcelain. So it can cut all these things. If it can cut granite, there ain't no reason why it can't cut any of these stones. So these are, it's a diamond tip blade, brand new. I just put it on there. So I'm gonna see how it goes. Like I said, it's nothing fancy. It's just a tile saw that I've got that I use for cutting floor tiles when I retile the bathroom or the pantry when I did the pantry a couple years ago. But yeah. Anyways, let's get into some cutting. Let's see what we got inside these rocks. I've got a variety of them. And let me lay them all out, and I will show you what I've got, and I'm going to do it in order of how I'm going to cut them. Got some really cool ones I found here on the property, so stay tuned. Okay, so I'm going to show you the rocks I'm going to be cutting open today. Most of these came from here on the property. Now there's there's 4 rocks here that I've had in my collection for quite some time. That I decided now, so I'm going to bring it out and I'm going to cut them open. But this is what I'm cutting open today. So, mind you, these are rocks that I found here on the property. So, I have no idea what's in there. But, you know, the only reason why I saved them is because they kind of look cool. Like, what is that? You know? It looks like it's got some quartz in there. Is that jasper? Is that, you know, agate? I don't know. I really don't know. It was a cool looking rock. And I decided to save it. You know, this is very porous. For the size of this rock, it's a little on the light side. I have no idea what's inside there, but we're going to find out. It looks like it came from the ocean. I don't know. You know, here's another one. You know, this one here, the color, just because it's so red and it's got some pores, some divots to it. You know, I'm curious to see what's inside there. It feels a little dense, so I'm curious if there's any bands in there. You know, here's another one. You know, look at the shape of that. Just on the outside of the rock, you can see the bands and the swoop. So I'm real curious as to what's inside these rocks that I've literally just picked it. Now look at that one. I picked these up on the property. I found them all here. That's very interesting. That is really cool. And I'm curious to see what's inside of it. You know, here's another one. This is just a plain old rock, but because of the holes, because of the way it formed, you know, maybe it's got some bands in there. I don't know. You know, here's another one. You can see it's got something in there. I don't know if that's quartz. You know what? I don't know. I'll probably cut this right down the middle. I'm hoping that this is probably jasper. I don't know. Or just be a really cool looking red rock. You know, but it's got some character to it. You know, again, here's another one. It just has some character to it. It looks like there's a band running through this. I don't know. Another porous one. Again, I live in Missouri, so I don't know if maybe some of these are actually native here to this state. You know, this one here, I just found this one here yesterday morning, just sitting on the ground. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to wash this up and see what's in there. This is probably just a standard rock. I don't know. It caught my eye. So I decided to pick it up. This one here again, same thing. This one was sitting kind of next to it. So it caught my eye and I decided just to pick it up and see if I can cut open to it. I just found this one this morning. So it was laying out there in the dirt. You know, it might need to be scrubbed up a little bit, but I'm going to cut it open first. But look at that one. That one's kind of interesting. You know, I don't know what's inside that. Hopefully it is some agate. You know, this one's a very dirty, porous rock. Now these I've had in my collection for a while. I've had this little thunder egg in my collection for a while. So there's that one. There's geodes. There's a little geode. But you can see the band running through there. That'd be interesting to see what's inside of it. This one here is really cool. I've had this in my collection for quite a while, for a couple of years. But I just thought it was so interesting when I found it. I believe I found this in Arizona. It was up by Flagstaff is where I got this one here. And this is a solid piece of quartz. And this came out of Prescott, Arizona. So this one I'm going to slice open. Just get a good texture to it. Some clean lines or whatever. I found this one here on the property. It's a little heavy. I'm not going to pick it up. Don't know what it is. It could be petrified wood. It could have some agate running through here. I don't know. Looks like it's got some quartz. And then this is my mystery. I found this one at the burn pile, and it's because of this rock that I've decided to do this. This is the most bizarre, most strangest looking thing. I did research it. I forget what it's called. It's some weird, long, stratospheric rock name. I don't know. I'll research it again. And then when I cut these things open, I will put the name of what I feel is the best describes it underneath it. But God, look at that. It almost looks like a little freaking dinosaur egg. I don't know, that is so wicked cool. I'd never seen something like this before. And again, I found this here on the property. It was in the burn pile. But that is so cool. I mean, look at that. That was in the burn pile. Look at that cavern in there. Yeah, I'm super excited. Super excited to get these things cut up. So let me get this machine all set up. Let me get it fired up. And then we're going to start cutting some rocks. All right, y'all. Hang in there. Okay, I had a little bit of an issue. The drain plug that's in my wet saw leaked. Leaked out all the water I had in here on the water side. So I took that out. I fixed it. The little grommet for the drain plug, I had a split in it, so all my water drained out of my wet saw. So I replaced it. I got it in there. Got it in. So far we're holding water. I put a little bath mat underneath it here, so that way it'll absorb anything that maybe should drain back out. But yeah, let's get some rocks cutting. So, all right, here we go. For our first rock, we are going to start with this one right here. We're going to cut this one right here. And I think what I'm going to do, I don't know. I might just split it. It's awful thin though. Can I get I might. Ooh, it's gonna be tight. I might see if I can cut it right down that line right there and split this one right in half. I should be able to. Let's see what we got going on. Let's see if we can do this. Here we go. Fire it up. And we are hot and live. Here we go. All right, I turned it off. It was a little loud, but I haven't opened it up yet. Had some sparks coming out of this one here. I'm gonna have to see if I can try to turn my camera down so that way you can see it too. You can see the sparks when it's sparking. But this is a first look. I haven't opened this up yet. But remember, this is what this one was. And now, let's look it open. Oh, that's kind of pretty. Look at that. That's different. Now I have an eye loop. Here's the other side. And I might get in there with the eye loop and look and see what I can see inside this. But yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah. It's got like a little sand pocket inside this. Now I do have a brush. Let me get this one. Let me get water in this. I have a little finger brush. Let's see what's in here. Let's clean that little pocket up. Looks like sand, or actually it looks like it's got sand in it. Yeah, I'll have to get in there a little bit better, but that's interesting. The first rock. Kind of cool, you know, not too shabby for the first rock, cutting open the first rock. You know, I'm just using this little nail brush, or don't really know what it is. I stole it from my wife. So yeah, there's our first one. Kind of cool. It's got some character to it. All right, let's get to the second one. We're gonna put this one down. And then I'm going to try to angle this so that way you guys can see down here what I see. Maybe you can see the sparks that are coming out of it. Sorry for the chaos in the shop. I'm using this as my workshop and everything too. Get sprayed with water. So now this is going to be my next one. This has got some quartz in it. It's red, so I have no idea what's in it, but I'm really, really excited. So I think I might just go straight across and just split this one right in half and just divide this up in 2 pieces. So I thought about going this way, but I think I'm just going to go straight across this way, and I'm going to cut it like this. I think that's the game plan. I'm going to cut this open. Let me clean up my table here first. Get a clean surface for this one. Yeah, I'm real interested about this one. I found this one months ago here on the property. So I'm real curious about this one here. But I think I am. I think I'm just going to cut it. I'm just going to go, I think I'm going to do a little diagonal cut. And I'm going to cut it, I'm going to cut it diagonally across this way. See what's in there. All right, let's do this. It had a little fragment that chipped off of it. Do you remember what it looked like on the outside? And then on the inside, oh, interesting. So it looks exactly on the outside like it does in the inside. Very cool. Don't know what it is, but yeah, it's got a little bit of character. You can see a little bit of fracture inside there. But yeah, that's really cool. You know, the quartz, apparently, so the quartz doesn't go all the way through. The quartz just stayed on the outside of this rock and stayed out there. But, yeah. Way cool. That's kind of cool. There's rock number 2. Now, this one, I'm going to go right through the middle, right down the middle this way. I'm going to cut it in half. And this is going to take a little bit of time because it's a big rock and it's kind of dense. And again, I'm only using a 7-inch blade. So, I mean, those people out here to do this for a living, you know, their blades are obviously a lot bigger. So, I'm only using a 7-inch blade. So, here we go with rock number 3. All right, so this one is our third rock. I had a little bit of trouble getting this thing turned around because it is so big for the 7-inch blade. But let's see what's inside. Oh, wicked cool. Wicked cool. Let's get that one cleaned up just a little bit. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Nothing super special. Just kind of cool. It's got some the pockets go all the way through it here. It's got a little pocket here in the middle, solid. I don't know what that is. You can see my line wasn't exactly straight, but yeah, this is the inside of this one. These are just standard rocks I found here on the property, and I thought, hey, this would be kind of cool. Let me cut these things open. I've got a wet saw. Why not? Something different, something new. So yeah, that one's there. It's kind of basic, you know. I don't know. It's kind of cool. So that's rock number 3. So here's this one, rock number 4. There's that one. And get this one cut open. I think I'm just going to go straight down the middle on this one. Get this cleaned up a little bit. So I am playing around with editing too, so bear with me, everybody. So we're going to cut this one right down the middle. Getting a little sprayed by that one. I gotta keep the guard on here, but I'm getting wet. I'm taking a shower. All right, so you remember the outside. There was the outside of this rock. Again, found right here on the property. And then the inside, oh, okay. That's cool. Cut was a little off, but it's got some interesting characters to it. Try it up. I got, looks like a filled with like clay, or I don't know if it's clay, I don't know if it's sand. Let's get that cleaned up just a hair. There we go. That's cool. Yeah, you can see the swirls in the stone. How it was formed. Yeah, that's wicked cool. Let's look at the other side. There's the other side. Wow, interesting. You know, it always fascinates me. What you see on the outside of the rock sometimes doesn't look like what's in the inside of the rock. But yeah, that's wicked cool. It isn't anything like what I thought it was going to be on the inside of this rock. So that was number 4. Now let's cut open this one. That one's got some cool banding. I'm going to go right through here, split this one right in half so that way I can see some of these bands through there. All right, this is number 5. So there's the outside, and there's the inside. Oh, look at that one. Oh, that is wicked. Wow, look at the swirl in there, the band. That is wicked. That is so cool. There's the other half. Wow. That's cool. Wasn't exactly what I was expecting. See, something cool, totally different than what the outside of the rock looks like compared to what the inside of the rock looks like. Look at that. That's the outside, and there's the inside. Wicked cool, man. That was awesome. That's 5. Now this one is my rock. This one here, I'm going to split this one right down the middle. I'm going to take these 2 pieces of quartz and make 2 different sides, 2 halves. Looks like iron oxide or something on the outside mixed in with the quartz. And we're going to split this one in half. This is going to be a little bit of a tricky of a cut just because of the size of it. But hopefully I can swirl it around. I can make it happen. So here we go. Here we go. Wow, that one was so hard to cut open. There was so much, I don't know if you can see that on the video, but man, there was a lot of sparks and it was shooting it through this rock. Check it out. This one was really hard to cut open. But here we go, first look. Oh, look at that. That's so wicked. Look at that. That is so cool. It broke right here before I can get it completely broken open. Man, look at that. Wow, you can see the bands in that. That is so cool compared to the outside. Wow, that is so cool. Here's the other side of it. Look at that. Wicked cool. Yeah, you can see the dark gray, the light gray, the clouds. You know, you can see the bands running through it this way. Little piece of quartz with maybe some iron oxide or some sort of an iron stone off there. That's wicked cool. I'm gonna have to research this one. I'm really digging this. That's so cool. So then here's this one. This one's gonna be next. I'm just gonna go straight through the middle. I think maybe I'll split it this way. I think I'll split it down the middle this way. I can get that. Yeah, let me split it. I'm gonna split it. I'm gonna separate it right in half. We're gonna go right down the middle this way. Okay, here we go with this one. Now this one here was a little soft. This one went through pretty good, like almost like butter. So there's the outside. First look. There's the inside. Okay. Kind of what I expected the inside to look like compared to the outside. You know, you can still see some quartz in there. You can see some bands. Let's get it cleaned up. Some water on there. Yeah. Interesting. Cool patterns. Really cool looking pattern. There's this one. Paper towel out. My cuts were a little off, but kind of cool. Sandstone. I don't really know what it is. Couldn't tell you. I don't know. Different. It's definitely different. Yeah, looks a lot like an inside, like this one is on the outside. So, there you have it. Some of them are different, some of them are not. Again, here's another one. I'm going to cut this one right down the middle here. I can see some bands of quartz inside there, so I'm going to cut this down in half and see what we see in the middle of this one. Here we go. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is rock number 8. right, this one I didn't get all the way through. It kind of crumbled on me before I can cut all the way through it, so it's a little soft inside, but it's separated. Let's see in the middle. Oh, very interesting. Look at that. Very interesting. Oh, that's cool. You see where it broke. It broke on me right before I can get this piece here cut off. You know, but yeah, look at that. Towel. Wow, wicked cool. Nice. Wow. Nice. Okay. Now this one, number 9. You know, I might not cut all these open today. I might save some for another day. You know, we can do another video. Like I said, I've been saving these ones for a while. So I might do half of these today and come back in a day or two and do the other half. And that way we can make maybe 2 or 3 different videos out of this. I mean, it sounds good to me. So we're going to go right through here and we're going to cut that one right in half this direction right here. All right, here we go. This is rock number 9. Well, this one broke too. This one kind of broke open. So you see the outside and then the inside. All right, kind of cool. Different. You know, you can see some of the discoloration here. That might be from my saw. Actually, that part of the rock. But yeah, it's kind of different. Not exactly what I was expecting from the outside of this rock compared to the inside of the rock. Different. You know, you never know what you're going to see in the inside unless you just cut them open. You just got to cut them open. Look at that. That's cool. All right, that's rock number 9. So, let me see. What do I want to do? I want to do this one. 12. You know what? I think I'm going to cut open. I'm going to cut 12 rocks today, and then I'll cut 12 rocks on the next video, which would be the final actually would be 11 rocks, unless I find an extra one. The final bit, the more exciting ones. This is kind of working way up. So, you know what? You're going to have to see video number 2 to see the rest of these rocks. The better ones that I found that I'm really, really curious about. So I'm going to cut open 12 of them today. So that leaves me with 3 more, 1 and 2 more to cut open. And then we'll do another video tomorrow or the next, maybe Tuesday. I'll do another video of the final 12. And I'll find an extra one around here. This property is riddled with rocks everywhere. You know, I'm sure I can find a really cool looking rock to cut open for y'all. So, but I'm going to cut this one open now. This is what it looks like on the outside. You know, just a basic old rock you'd see sticking out of your ground. But it's this pattern here that really makes me curious on what's in the inside. So let's see what's on the inside of this rock. I think I'm just going to slice it right down the middle like that. That one just kind of fell apart, that last one. So we're going to cut this right down the middle. so this one went through pretty quick. Went through nicely, real easy like. So you know what the outside of the rock. And then first look on the inside. Oh, interesting. Cool pattern. Nothing all that spectacular. But as you can see, look at this. You can see here, let me get this little straw here. I'm going to use this as a pointer. Look at this. See this section right here. They got just perfectly rectangle shape right there. That's cool. And you can see the bands that run through this rock here. That's interesting right there. I'm curious to know. I would like to know what material that is that's separate from here, because you can see the perfect straight lines. That's wicked. And again, on this one here, there it is. It's right there. But it's shaped differently. Let me get this one wet. Look. That is so cool. You can see the bands going right there. There's a real faint little lines, little bands running through there. But that's a cool looking pattern. All right. God, interesting. So this is my red rock. I'm curious to see what's inside. I suspect that this one's going to look exactly the way it is on the outside, except in the inside it's just going to be red. So we're just going to split it right in half. All right, fairly easy, went through a lot of sparks, So this one here, the outside, and then the inside. Oh, okay, like I said, looks about the same as it does on the outside. It's got the same look on the inside. Kind of cool, real cloud. It's got this little cloud right here. This little cloudy area right there. Don't know what that is. You can see a little bit of quartz. That's quartz right there. I wonder if this is like kind of like a jasper. More quartz there. Right in the center. I wonder if this is like a jasper. I'll have to research this one too. Again, I'm probably going to put the description of all these riff rocks. You know, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to Google search it, reverse image, and see what Google has to say. And I usually do it about 3 or 4 times to get a consensus on what it says. But yeah, outside of the rock, inside the rock, looks just like I expected. It looks the same. Cool. That's 11. So then we got this porous one here. Now this porous one, this will be my 12th and final one in this video. I'm going to split it right down the center right here. You can see all these pits inside here. If I go slow, I should be able to save all that. Hopefully it won't chip apart. Again, I'm only using a 7-inch wheel, so this is a little bit taller. I'm going to have to spin it a few times. But yeah, let's get this one cutting. This will be my 12th one, and then the next video is going to have the rest of my rocks over there, and then we're going to go over it. We're going to go through it a little bit slower. I got to clean up my mess over here before I do another bunch. But here we go, 12th and final rock. Here we go. So here we go. It's the last rock. There's the outside. And here's first look on the inside. Oh, different. Interesting. Love the colors. Look at the color in that. That's really cool. Let me get the little brush here. Let me see if I can clean this up a little bit. There you go. It's got a little pocket. You can see the pocket right there. That's my little red straw. I lost my straw. My pointer. Using it as a pointer. Anyway, oh, there it is. So it's got this little pocket right here. It's hard, it's solid, so I don't know what it is. And that one's a full hole. But yeah, you can see the inside of this one here. You can see the different colors that are inside this stone. It's wicked cool. And then on the other side, get this one away. There's that one there. Again, you can see the little pockets of quartz. That's quartz right there. That's quartz right there. These are little quartz pockets inside there. That might be a quartz inside there underneath. I could probably even cut this down again, make a slab out of it. But yeah, and it's solid. I mean, it's got some grit in there, a little bit of grit, but you know, not too much sparks came out of this one here. But yeah, that was the 12th one. So kind of cool to see what's inside these rocks. You know, you really don't know until you cut them open, but you know, very interesting. You know, this could be a form of granite. It possibly could be granite. It looks almost like granite characters to it. I'll research it some more and figure out what it is. You know, I can see some quartz right there. You know, but yeah, that's the inside of this rock here compared to the outside. You know, a little different. So, but yeah, there's our 12 rocks. Really cool. I mean, it was wicked cool to cut open these rocks that I've been holding on to for quite some time. You know, I find these rocks around the property and I think to myself, it'd be kind of cool to see what's inside these rocks. And I don't know if you go out there and you walk a beach or you walk the shore of a lake or just out in the desert or on a property inland, you know, and you come across a rock going, huh, it looks kind of cool. You know, it's a simple little tile saw that I got from Home Depot. I picked up the saw, like I said, to do projects around the house for tiling a bathroom, and I think I did a closet and a pantry with it. You know, it works great. Little Ryobi. Pretty much the only Ryobi tool that I really own other than a radio. I'm not really a big fan of Ryobi. It was on sale. I think I paid $100 for this thing at the time at Home Depot. I think it was like an early Black Friday sale. I think it was like $99. And then being a veteran, I get 10% off. So it probably only ran me like $90, you know, 95 with tax. But yeah, it was really cool to see what was inside some of these rocks. I really hope that you have the same curiosity as I do, like what's inside these stones, just by seeing them on the ground and have that thought like, huh, I wonder what's inside this. Wonder what it looks like. I wonder if it looks the same on the inside as it does on the outside. And, you know, now my curiosity has been laid to rest. I understand what's in the middle of these particular first 12. I am curious about the other 12, what's going to be in it. I'm going to count this one as my 12th rock just because I only have 11 sitting here. So that'll make number 12. These 12 I'm going to be cutting open on the next video. These ones here, check it out. These 12 are going to be the ones I'm going to be cutting open in the next video. I will start with probably this one and work my way up the rows until we finally get to that big monster right there. That's going to be a challenge to cut open. This quartz one is going to be really cool. I suspect it's going to be exactly the same on the inside as it is on the outside. It's just a solid chunk of quartz. This little geode, I don't know if this is considered as a geode. I don't know if it's a thunder egg. Thunder eggs are essentially like geodes. You know, here's another. This is another geode that I picked up. I'm really hoping to find some agate through some of these. That'd be wicked cool. That might have a little bit of agate inside there. That one's going to be interesting. I think this might even be petrified wood. I'm going to slice it open dead center right down the middle so we can see the two different sides. And I might just slice this one right down the middle and that one too. But those 12 are going to be the next video. And in these 12 were the start of my rockhound stone cutting adventure today. So I hope that you guys got as much enjoyment out of this as I did. Again, I've been holding on to these rocks for quite some time. Some of them I recently found. Others I've held on to for years. And I've always been curious, what's in the middle of this rock? And if you have the same curiosity too, hey, go down to your local hardware store, Harbor Freight, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever, home improvement store, and pick up a table saw. It's just a tile saw. It's not really the tile saw that you have to concern about. It's the blade. And you can buy different blades for these things. There's my other camera for my other view. I'm trying to get a downshot view of the table saw. That way you can see what it looked like for me cutting it. But, you know, you can go and you can get different saw blades for these table saws. This is a 7-inch, so I have to stick with the 7-inch blades. This is a diamond blade. It's a KD. I think it probably came from Harbor Freight. It might have come from Home Depot. I don't know. A friend of mine borrowed my saw, used it, and then bought me a new blade and to replace the one that he'd used. He tiled his bathroom and hallway. So, but yeah, this one here, it says it's cutting for porcelain tile, ceramic tile, marble, and granite. So, yeah. I mean, it seemed to work out okay. You know, would I like to have had a bigger blade, a 10-inch? A 10-inch would be fabulous. A 10-inch would be so cool. I'd be able to cut bigger stones. A 12-inch would be even bigger. But I'm small scale. The other 12 are going to be a little big, so I'm going to have to take my time on those. But you kind of have an idea of what I'm working with here, what it looks like after I cut these ones open. I'm kind of impressed by some of these rocks. The curiosity is now gone. I know what it looks like in the inside. Some of them look exactly like it does on the outside. You know, you don't know until you cut it open, you know. And with that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. And, you know, again, I'm Todd. This is Todd Hollow Homestead. And, you know, guys, it's a crazy world out there. Be safe. Be safe out there, everybody. And as always, happy hunting, y'all. Happy hunting. If it ain't a four-legged critter, maybe it's a rock. But happy hunting. Take care, y'all. Till next time, that's Todd Hollow Homestead. See you later.